Welcome, everybody, to episode 170 of the Geek Dad Report, the one show dedicated, formulated, specially created to bring you guys all the nerd news you need to know, all while putting a little smile on your face. I'm Brian West, the hostess with the Lucky Charms and Mostess.
And I'm Ryan Thomason with the Central Washington Mostess.
And just like Lucky Charms, Ryan, I'm magically delicious.
It's not St. Patrick's Day, is it?
I got a couple days. Then this weekend.
Is that the time where everybody? It's so much fun to watch all these people just stumbling around drunk, because that's apparently all the Irish. I
plan on spending my Sunday day drinking. I do got to go to a friend's birthday party or their daughter's birthday party, but it's at like Buster and Doug's and Buster's. I don't know. I've never been to it.
Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's. There we go. Like I said, I have not ever been to one.
It's a big thing over here in Philly.
Really?
It's like an arcade bar, basically.
We got a couple of them here. I know when it opened it was a big thing, but I always heard it's like super packed, so I just why go? I'm getting old to the point where I'm like, I don't want to wait in line for a video game.
Yeah, get like the $25 card, and then you have it supercharged, and then you can just take it and go into like all the arcade machines and just.
Do you find that like the older you get, it's not even that like I don't like hate crowds. I don't hate people or anything like that. But I sit around going, you know what? I could just watch this on my big screen at home, or you know what? I could just play video games for free at home, or I can just. I have a really hard time justifying spending money on an experience that I can have almost as good at home.
Yeah, when the last time my wife and I went to Dave and Buster's, my kids wanted to do like all the cool like arcade games, and they got like they have Space Invaders on like a 12-foot by like 20-foot screen.
That's cool.
Where my wife and I hung out most of the time.
The bar.
We played skee ball.
Oh, nice.
And we played they had like some carnival games where you're like trying to like throw the ball into like the jug. And stuff like that. That was pretty much what we did.
God, I even have a hard time going out to bars anymore because I'm like, I'll take a fucking Crown and Coke, right? And they'll be like, oh, that's $12. I'm like, $12? I get a whole bottle of Costco whiskey for $30.
By myself at home.
I know. That's all. And so I was wondering. I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know if it's just because I'm sure some of it's because I'm getting older. As you get older, you just it's just the way. You'd rather sit on your comfy couch.
How much shit costs.
I don't want to have to put on my nice pants. I like to wear my fat pants and sit on my comfy couch and, Netflix and chill. But, so what do you think it's more of? Do you think it's that we're getting old, or do you think it's just that, like, the conveniences at home now are so much better than they used to be? So, like, when you were younger, if you wanted to play video games, you had to go somewhere. Like, you had to go play video games.
I think it's a combination of both because... I mean, like you were just saying, for our generation, if we wanted to like go to an arcade type of experience or a movie type of experience, you had to go out for that. Yeah. Unless you wanted to play on your Nintendo, you were never going to have any game that was as good as the arcade.
Yeah, but even on a Nintendo, like you could go to the arcade and it was it was like an experience, right? There was always going to be 50 other kids at the arcade that you could talk to. Yeah. You could brag about your Street Fighter score. There's things. Nintendo's great, but unless you had a friend or even a sibling. Siblings got old playing with because you just end up fighting with each other. But unless you had a friend to play Nintendo with, it was a very solitary experience.
Yeah, now you just play multiplayer online, and you're basically getting that experience of being around people and trash talking and doing all that kind of stuff. And movies are, I know people that don't even go to theater anymore because they're like, why would I?
Hollywood, everyone likes to complain about these big blockbuster movies. Like all there is I listen to these podcasts where critics are talking about like all Hollywood does is make these big giant epic popcorn movies.
That's the only way they can get people to come out still.
Well, think about it. Here's the thing. Like I went and saw Annihilation, which I hated, right? The Natalie Portman movie last year. All the critics loved it. It's a real artsy fartsy, like I get it. I get it. A lot of people liked it. You're entitled to your opinion, but I personally found the movie excruciatingly boring and did not like it, right? So my thing is, like, me and the wife, we went out, we went to one of those theaters you could drink in the theater. We paid like $100 to go to the movie. At the end of it, we're like, we could have found a movie of equal quality on Netflix for free, right? Like,
Yeah.
At least I know if I go see Avengers or Captain Marvel, which we're going to talk a little bit about tonight, at least I know if at the end of the day, nothing else, I'm going to be entertained. And shit's going to blow up, and it's going to be loud, and I'm going to be like, ooh.
Well, I think especially as all these streaming services that are about to come online, the Disney Plus, Netflix is still plunking, billions of dollars into, creative, into new content. WB is talking about making their own streaming service. I mean, there's literally going to be no reason unless it's unless it's, the next Avengers movie or, the next, whatever big blockbuster movie. I mean, I can't tell you. Like the semi, like the just below, blockbuster movie that we're just waiting for them to come out on Netflix or HBO or whatever.
Yeah, that's honestly all it is for me. I mean, every now and then there's something I want to see that's not a giant blockbuster, but like I really wanted to see Vice, but I just could never find time to make time to go. And especially like, with the kids, it's much easier to get the whole family and go to see Captain Marvel or Avengers or whatever than it is to, find a sitter to go out and see a movie like Vice.
Hey, you guys want to go see a Dick Cheney movie?
Yeah, I've heard it's great. I really want to see it, but am I going to spend $100 on a sitter just to go out and see Vice? Sorry, no.
Yeah.
But
I think, like you said, like to answer your question, I think it's a combination of both. It's just we're getting old and we're getting all the luxuries at home now. So.
That's true. And I bought a nice bottle. I got a nice bottle of Jameson Black Barrel. So if you haven't, it's the expensive Jameson.
They char it? Do they char it? Is that what
it's? Here, talk for a second. I'm gonna grab the bottle and show you. Talk. Dead air time. Look at all my cool Funkos. Yeah, look how
the Black Barrel is either that they char it or they paint it black, and then you have to drink all the paint fumes that are from the paint. But other than that, God, I wish I had some goddamn liquor in my house. That's all I know. I drank it all. I made big, huge alcoholic drinks that I just mixed everything together with my kid juices that they have. So sometimes that works.
I was standing here the whole time. I just really enjoyed listening to you ramble about your kids' juice and booze.
I knew that's exactly what you're doing.
I have a very nice liquor cabinet, right? So it's full.
What's in the Black Barrel?
So let's see what it says here. It says it's triple distilled Irish whiskey. It's 40 proof. It says charred for a rich, smooth taste. So you were on to something. It was charred. Let's see here. It says a tribute to the legacy of charring barrels before filling them. Our coppers called it bringing the wood back to life. Ooh. You know what my wife calls that? Friday night. Hey. Black Barrel features charred and double charred bourbon. I don't even charred and double charred. Whatever. Bourbon barrels.
Char it and then they give it an extra char.
That deliver unique spiciness, vanilla sweetness, and nutty notes.
What they actually do, they have like that real Charizard Pokemon and they just like distill the Pokemon.
I don't want to know where they get their nutty notes from, though. I'm telling you right now. Alcohol kills everything, though, right? Yeah, so basically, if anybody's interested in this, if you want to get your Irish on...
I've never tried that kind before. Is it pretty good?
Yeah, so I saw it at Costco. Hey, I was like, ooh, I've never seen... I like Jameson. I mean, I'm not a huge Jameson. I don't drink a lot of Jameson normally, but I do enjoy it, and so this looked kind of cool. I was like, I've never seen this before, so when it's like $30 for this bottle, so it's not terribly expensive. A little more expensive than regular Jameson, but I was like, I'll try it. But yeah, it's basically like it's a lot like I feel like Captain Morgan spiced rum.
Yeah,
those kind of flavors. Put that in a whiskey with a little bit more vanilla taste, and that's kind of what it tastes like. It's really good for straight shooting.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to try that sometime.
There you go. St. Patty's Day's coming, people. If you're like 20% Irish, like I am, get Jameson Black Barrel.
Yeah. Save it for St. Patty's Day.
Or just drink it now.
That's true.
I won't drink it now.
I can't drink it because it's already 11:15.
You go to sleep real easy tonight. All right. Well, let's see. I guess we should probably get to the show. We don't really have a big show planned because Facebook is a big steaming pile of internet, social media bullshit. And we tried to post our question post tonight, and we don't have any questions from you guys So we had to fill the show ourselves, which means you have 26 minutes of content.
Yes. It's going to be very sad. It might be like episodes 1 through 10, where we actually kept it under 30 minutes every episode.
Can I just say for the record, I usually have my big mug. This one feels really teeny. I feel like I'm drinking out of like a shot glass here, like a teacup.
What is on that? Is that a... Oh, okay, it's a stormtrooper. Okay.
Badass first order trooper.
The way that you were holding it, I couldn't tell if it was like a snowdrift or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you don't hold it dead on, I mean, if you look at it, it's like the painting's kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. But we do have that being said, we do have a fun show planned for you guys. We do got some ninja news, not a ton of it, but we will talk about some fun things. We had some really cool trailers drop this week. We had one trailer that dropped that might have redeemed itself in the eyes of the internet, so we'll talk about that. We have a couple recommendations, which is cool, and I watched a couple of new things. I watched Captain Marvel in the season 2 premiere of American Gods, so we're going to have a discussion about both those things tonight. So stick around. It's going to be awesome.
Go anywhere. I do have a really quick question for you before we dive into the news and stuff.
Sure, what do you got?
How is Holly holding up with the Game of Thrones? How far have you guys gotten?
Good. We are one episode away from the Mountain and the Viper.
Oh my! You haven't gotten there yet?
No, that's gonna.
So how did she handle the Red Wedding?
So way better than I thought. And obviously this is spoilers for anybody who's not seen Game of Thrones. But like I said, at this point, whatever.
Yeah.
I think Christine, Faithful 50 member Christine, she's apparently now feels she doesn't have to watch the show because she feels we've told her everything she needs to know. So hey, there you go.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. No, it's so when Tiliana or whatever, Robb Stark's wife got stabbed in the belly. She was kind of like for a second, and then she was just like, she went back to like playing her game, and she's just watching, and she's like, oh wow, all right. And then when they cut Catelyn Stark's throat, she's like, ooh, that's pretty bad. And I'm like, I was like, she's like, wow, they just killed everybody, huh? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, well, that's the Red Wedding. And she goes, that's the Red Wedding that everybody's been talking about for so long. That was it. And I'm like,
you're playing on your phone, not even paying attention.
I know, right? Every 20 minutes, I don't know if I talked about this last week, but like every 20 minutes into an episode, she's getting a little bit better. Like I can tell she's really starting to get into some of it, and especially since they killed off a lot of the cast already. The cast's a little smaller, so she's able to kind of, she's gotten used to the different houses and the different places and stuff. So, she's absorbing more of the information. But for the most part, like every 20 minutes, I got to pause and she's like, okay, what's going on here? What's doing this? And I'm like, if you put down your phone, you would know. And she's like, I can't. I get bored. I'm like, obviously, you wouldn't get that bored because you don't even know what's going on. Like, it would give you stuff to, like, keep your attention. Whatever.
I don't know how you can do that for the first time. Like, if it was like my second or third time watching an episode,
I can't even for the second viewing. I can't pick up my phone because I have to constantly rewind it if I miss a good line of dialogue. Dude, it's such a good show. It is a great show to rewatch.
I remember the first time I watched it, I was literally like,
yeah, and I believe that I may have definitive proof that my theory that Bran is the Lord of Light.
You think so?
I do, because there's a part where Jojen. How does Jojen die? He gets, like, stabbed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what happens to Jojen?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rights or the dead rise and stab him. So there's a part when he's talking to Bran when he's like, you gotta get to the Tree of Light. Hang on a second. Charlie, what are you doing?
She's hiding behind the computer.
Dude, no, I just saw something, like, slowly being dragged across the floor. And I'm like, what the hell is that? What are you doing in your backpack? I'm trying to tell a story here. This is daddy's time.
Bye, Charlie.
Whatever.
She's my favorite West family member.
Yeah, Joey's recording at 8 o'clock at night. Because there's a part when, he's having this is when they're at Caster's Keep, right? And and they've been captured and chained up, and he's like totally freaking out. He's sick. He's going on like some weird LSD acid trip. His eyes are all dilated. He's sweating, and he's like, "Oh, I see the tree." And Bran's like, "Oh, you see it?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like. He said something about, like, you we'll be fine here. You have to go, and you have to get there or whatever. And they're like, how will we know we're there? And he's like, you'll be there. And he talks about the end. And they're like, how do you know when I'm at the end? And he looks and he's like, oh, and he sees his hand on fire and he goes, oh, you'll know.
So he's the Lord of Light.
I think Bran is the Lord of I think Bran is the Lord of Light.
He's going to become the king. No, he doesn't really care because he's more.
No, I think. Wrong hole. I think Bran's a Lord. No, I think he's the Lord of Light because I think at some point he's going to be burnt. And I think as he's like whatever, his psychic is just going to explode into the fire. And I think the fire is going to channel it, like the Warwood trees or whatever else.
This is good theory, Brian.
But this is not the Game of Thrones theory. We're going to have one of those the week before the season 8.
I just wanted a quick update to see where you guys were on your getting.
Yeah, you got me. Sorry, I got sidetracked there for a second. So the Red Wedding did not really faze her, but however, the Purple Wedding literally made her jump up and like, woo! He's dead! He's dead! That fucker is dead! And I'm like, yep. She was like, I can't believe it. I didn't think they'd kill him. She's like, I thought he was just gonna be an asshole until the end of the whole series, and I'm like, nope. They have other assholes to fill his void, but no one's quite like Joffrey.
Just wait until Cersei gets into full Cersei mode.
What's kind of cool is I asked her flat out, I'm like, okay, so she's been trying to avoid, and I can tell she's enjoying it because she's really trying to avoid all the spoilers and everything and all the, promotional stuff now. And I was like, so who do you know? I said, who do you know who's actually alive? And she's like, well, because she made a comment. So right now they're trying Tyrion for the death of Joffrey. And she's like, yeah, it kind of sucks. I know he doesn't die. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, there's a lot to it, so there's still surprises. I said, well, who do you know for a fact is still alive? So that way, don't have to beat around the bush with her. And so the only two characters that she knows is alive right now is Cersei and Tyrion. So.
Oh, okay. Does she have any attachment to Hodor yet?
Yes. That's going to be a rough episode.
Yeah.
I think the Viper, she really likes Prince Oberyn.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like all of us do. He's great. Oh, dude. That's the worst. But we will talk. We will talk a lot about Game of Thrones. We're going to do
I will ask for another update.
Yeah, we will. We're going to do. I think we're going to do a whole because we always do our review shows for Game of Thrones, our special review shows every week. So I think we're going to do probably the week before. We'll do a special kind of like.
To get ourselves psyched up for it.
Yeah, we'll talk about theories.
It's literally going to be here, and then it's going to be done in 35 days. You know that, right? When it starts.
I know. I'm trying to not think about it, but whatever. I'm just excited about it. We'll do our show. We'll give our final predictions, what we think is going to happen at the end of this series. We'll talk all about it. We'll kind of, because I've been freshly watching them, we can recap seasons 1 through 7, but we're going to do that. But we're not going to do that tonight. I don't even think we have any Game of Thrones news.
Do a recap of everything that's happened so far. Listen to Binge Mode, Season 1 from the Ringer Network, because that's what I did, and it's been really good.
God damn them. They're so much better than us at everything. It sucks. They have all these great shows. We have like one show, and it's barely great. I mean, it's only great for the people who listen. All faithful 50 of you.
Yes.
God, whatever.
That's all we need, Brian.
I don't have no time. If somebody paid me to just do this for a living, I could have binge mode. It'd be great. But I don't.
We'd do a lot of shit if we had payments.
All right. Well, we could spend all night talking about what we wish we had and what we actually do have. But you know what we do have, Ryan? We have a handful of news for everybody. So I think we should just get to it. What do you think?
I think we should start karate chopping it down.
Well, in that case, Ryan, we are coming with the judo chop of information. The uppercut of awesomeness. Your turn. Come on.
I'm sorry. It was just your uppercut kind of looks like you're trying to fist something. So
my anal fisting of fury. What? Gotta get it. You just gotta get it in there, Ryan. And then you grab it and you squeeze all the knowledge out of it.
This doesn't sound right at all, Brian. I don't think you know how fisting works.
Do you have like a wet towelette or anything? Hands a little dank.
We're gonna do like
come on, and the
Cobra Kai leg sweep of learning.
Yeah. Yes.
Get it over with.
Yeah, that's what she said. All right. What do we got first? Well, since we always do this first. After we lost like 37 people last week, I didn't think we'd have to have a memorandum this week. But unfortunately, we did lose somebody this week. The star of the hit TV show from when I was a kid, Airwolf, Jan Michael Vincent, died. Age of 74.
That's a good age.
Yeah, it's a good age. I think he died from a complication. He got in a car accident or something, but yeah, I didn't really read it. You know, when you're 74, I don't really read how you died, so I mean, whatever. You died at old age at that point.
Yes.
I hope to live to be 74. Hope the planet isn't melted and we have been eaten by mutant sea turtles.
Yeah, I don't think the world will survive that long. So
he lived a better life than probably I will. Knock on wood. But if you guys don't know what Airwolf is, then how dare you? Airwolf was a great. I'm sure if I rewatch Airwolf now, I would not think it was great. Basically, it was like an attack. It was like an elite attack helicopter that. Think of Knight Rider, but with a helicopter. But the helicopter wasn't sentient like Kit was. I don't really know. Shit just would arise that they needed an attack helicopter for. They'd run to their helicopter, and then they just fly around the U.S. blowing shit up.
That sounds good.
But it was great, because I remember back in the day, like, you gotta love the 80s. So back in those days, whenever the show was doing okay and the actors wanted a raise, they would just kill them off and recast everybody. I mean, It's kind of what they did with Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, they didn't kill him, but they just all of a sudden their cousins showed up and were taking over the family business of bootlegging. So in Airwolf, it had Airwolf, Michael Vincent. God, I can't fucking talk tonight. And Ernest Borgnine, I think, was his co-pilot. And they got too expensive, so somebody sabotaged the Airwolf and blew it up and killed them both. And so then his daughter became the new Airwolf pilot. And they had an Airwolf 2.0, and the ratings also blew up with the helicopter.
This sounds like you made it up. Is this a real show?
I remember it because I was so traumatized. It was the first time I remember watching, like, a main star. Can you imagine if, like, halfway through season 4, oh, Jesus, your dog. He crept up like the Predator, dude. His head, like, slowly came into frame.
I've never heard this before.
Yeah, so Airwolf, like, can you imagine, like, right in the middle of season 3 or 4, like, all of a sudden Michael Knight just explodes, and they bring in somebody else. That's what they did in Airwolf. I was just like, oh my god. I don't know why I thought it was cool. It was like this black stealth helicopter. And I don't know how, like, as an adult now you look back, like, how did they get clearance to just fly this helicopter around? I mean, you think somebody would have noticed?
They didn't care as much back then.
Yeah, whatever. But anyway, it was a great... I'm gonna tap into my nostalgia and say it was one of the best shows in the history of anything.
Wow, that's a pretty good.
How about that?
Big bold statement, Brian.
I mean, it came out in like '87, maybe. So I was like 9. So like to a 9-year-old, it was amazing.
Well, I didn't even know that show existed. So I'm sure if you would like to tell me that I should be watching it, then maybe I will try and see if it's on Amazon Prime or something.
Probably would recommend you don't. It's probably terrible. But if you want to, go check it out. Airwolf. Attack helicopter. Stealth helicopters.
It holds up very well.
All right, and then let's see what else we got here. So we got some trailers. So we have a lot of kind of the same things. We got some Marvel news, Captain Marvel news, a little bit of DC news, and a whole bunch of Aladdin stuff, and then a couple of pop purrs. What do you want me to do first? Where do you want to go tonight? Let's
get Aladdin out of the way.
All right, so we got our first official like movie trailer for Aladdin. Yeah. The first couple things we've seen so far.
They should have started with.
Definitely. I mean, they didn't do a very good job with the teasers. I don't know, and I kind of wonder if maybe Disney shouldn't release teasers for their live actions. I just don't think you get a good feel. I think they try and tap into the nostalgia, but it just makes you angry because you already have something that looks like they're showing you, and it's not as good. But we got a full trailer.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, well, they tapped into the nostalgia in this trailer. This is everything that they should have done.
Well, I just mean with the first 2 Aladdin trailers in particular, I mean, The Lion King wasn't too bad, but the first 2 Aladdin trailers got a lot of flack on the internet. Me and you both said the same thing. We'll see what it actually looks like before we say anything. But most people did not have our calmness, and they immediately went to the internet and yelled and screamed into the void about Will Smith and about just everything about it. I mean, in their defense, the first two trailers the first one was fine. It was just a teaser. It showed the Cave of Wonders and had the music. But the second one did not give us nearly enough of Will Smith's genie. We hardly got any of the characters, and it felt like a weird, cheap ripoff of Aladdin more than it felt like an actual, like, big budget remake. Yeah,
it looked like it was going to be the Aladdin, like, porn spoof that they were good,
or like the Netflix original movie, Aladdin, so so a lot of people were just upset. Like we always say, you got to give it a chance before you lose your mind. And we got a full 2.5 minute trailer that, gives you, I'm not going to say it gives away the plot because I swear 90% of the world has probably seen Aladdin by this point.
Yeah. But they did, like, they showed some of the songs, like, just really short clips of the songs and, some of the iconic scenes.
They did a good job of reminding us that, hey, these are all the things that you love. And look, we're going to give you clips so even though it's like a different version, a Will Smith version of A Friend Like Me, it still was really good. I mean, there's a point when he's talking to him and he's like, I want to be a prince. And Will Smith is like, there's a lot of princes. And all of a sudden he shows, and there's like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Did you catch that?
It could be any kind of prince. It's a very broad, I think he said it's a very gray area or something.
Yeah, very gray area. And then all of a sudden he like creates, and it's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And he's like off in the distance. I'm like, that's great. Anybody who loved the cartoon as a kid, one of the things we loved about it was the fact that Robin Williams' genie was so meta in that. I mean, he was almost like Deadpool in that aspect. He kept, referencing his other movies, and I think he did a Mrs. Doubtfire thing, and so I'm really enjoying that this is going to be in there. And like I said, the songs are really good. A whole new world that actually sounds like it was lifted from the 91 version. Mm-hmm. But it looks really good. The trailer looked good. The action looks good. I think that does a better job of giving you a bigger scope of the movie, and it definitely feels like an expensive movie now. It looks much better. I'm not going to say I'm excited because I'm not really excited to see any of these live action remakes, but this actually looks good.
Did they have Apu? I was trying to see Apu, but I don't
think they had him a bunch of times. I don't think he talks, but he didn't talk in the cartoon either.
He's more like, and do that.
I don't know if they're going to have him be as expressive. They do have, let's see, what's his name? What's the bird's name?
Jafar?
No, Jafar is the evil guy. Let's see here. Lago the bird, who was originally voiced by Gilbert Gottfried. Apparently Alan Tudyk is going to do the voice, and some people were mad.
Alan Tudyk is doing a lot of shit lately.
Alan Tudyk is great. He's a great voice actor. He's also a very good actor, and honestly, I don't want Gilbert Gottfried. I love Gilbert Gottfried, but I don't want any reminder that this is not the cartoon that I grew up watching, right? Like, just give me a new slate.
Don't want it.
I mean, listen, I know they brought back James Earl Jones for Mufasa and The Lion King, but to be fair, you can't replicate James Earl Jones. Like, it's James Earl Jones.
Mufasa.
Simba, I am your father. Go back to the Pride Lands. See, I can't even do it. Like, I mean, it's freaking Darth Vader voicing a lion.
This is your kingdom.
But yeah, we got a really cool new poster. Disney released a poster of it, and it looks. I think people need to take a deep breath. My personal opinion is everybody can feel any way they want to, but I personally think everyone should take just a deep breath, exhale, and realize this movie's going to be okay. It's a remake of Aladdin, but it's probably going to be fine. You'll probably laugh, and you'll probably come away going, I don't like Will Smith's genie as much as I love Robin Williams, but it was pretty good.
You're going to have the exact same reaction that you had to Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, all the other ones.
I hope not Beauty and the Beast. That movie was like 3 hours long. It felt so long.
I mean, it's going to feel exactly like all the other ones. You're going to know, the plot, every single song, even though you haven't sung them, in like 30 years, but you're going to know every single song, it's going to happen, and it's just going to be a live action. You're going to be like, you know what, that was fun. That was different.
I will say that the thing that I think could separate this one from some of the other movies is the fact that because the original Aladdin was a comedy, basically, because of Robin Williams, this has the potential, if they really go down that comedy route again, to really give us a lot of new jokes, and it could feel new in that way because it could be very funny. And not give us the same material that the original movie gave us.
It's going to get at least one view from, like, 400 million people.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's going to make money, let's be honest. And people can yell all they want to about Will Smith's genie. I think he looks fine.
Yeah.
He definitely looks better in the actual trailer.
He's not going to be blue all the goddamn time, so.
Yeah, and I never thought, I mean, he looked weirdly puffed out, but who cares? The original genie is a weird looking, like, I don't even know what it is. I mean, it's round and barrel chested. It's a freaking genie. He can look any way he wants to.
Yeah.
I just think I'm starting to realize after 30 years, 40 years on this earth that people just like to complain about shit all the time.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and that's all that matters.
Yep. Let's see here. Like I said, if you haven't seen the trailer, check out the trailer. It's really cool. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Real quick, couple little quick stories. The Thrilling Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Season 2 is coming. We got a release date. Netflix gave us the first poster. I'm guessing the teaser's coming soon, considering the Season 2 drops April 5th. So, a couple weeks away.
Ooh, I still got to get past episode 1.
It's actually really good. I really enjoyed it. I mean,
I think we just keep getting hung up on a whole bunch of other stuff. We keep forgetting to go back to it.
Dude, there is so much content out right now. Like, it's ridiculous how much content's out. It's going to just get worse. I know every time I see a show that I like saying coming back for the next season, I'm like, oh, I'm still trying to catch up on these other shows.
The only show that I know I'm already committed to is Game of Thrones. That's the only one that I know that I will shove aside whatever I'm currently watching.
Well, I think Game of Thrones is literally... Is there anything else on TV right now that is must-watch? Everybody in the world drops exactly immediately what they're doing and watches Game of Thrones the moment it comes out.
Like everybody that you know?
Yeah, I don't think there's any other shows on TV right now.
I mean, I've had some coworkers come up to me and they're like, "Hey, have you heard of Umbrella Academy on Netflix?" And like, yeah, I talked about it.
Yeah, but I don't think Netflix, other than maybe Stranger Things. I think when Stranger Things drops, people literally that first season of Daredevil, I know a lot of people like immediately the moment it came out stopped what they were doing and watch it.
Let's see, Stranger Things, Netflix, Game of Thrones, HBO.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't think of any other show where it's like I know like people who I know are not like into super nerdy things. Like,
I mean, there's some reality stuff. Obviously, sports. You know, maybe shows like The Bachelor and Survivor still get probably big audiences. But yeah, I mean, honestly, those are about the only two things I can think of that are like culturally everybody. And even Stranger Things isn't quite like that because people are so used to Netflix just watching it when they have it, available.
Yeah.
But Game of Thrones is like 6 p.m. Pacific time. It's airing right now on Eastern time. Let's get on this. Like, I literally turn my phone off because you're just like, nope, no reactions. I'm good. I'll wait. So I don't know. But anyway, it's coming. It is not, Sabrina is not a must watch when it comes out, but it's a good show. I would recommend anybody who hasn't seen it, check it out. I really enjoyed it.
The episode I watched was really cool.
It's like a really... It's like a really dark CW show that's only 10 episodes and very streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
So, I liked it. Another show that a lot of people are probably going to binge watch that I'll probably watch at some point, but Taika Waititi, better known for directing Thor Ragnarok and lots of other things, is going to write and direct a Time Bandits series.
Okay, so...
I do not remember Time Bandits. I know I've seen it. I was trying to remember. I do not remember the show.
Okay, so I was going to ask you because it's like it seems familiar, but I can't put a finger on it. Like why I should know? Like was it a movie or was it a TV show?
There was a movie in the 80s, The Time Bandits. There was a bunch of little people, I think, who could go through time. I'm not really sure. Honestly, I honestly don't know. I know that's probably bad geek cred. Maybe we'll have to do a crap-tastic for the Time Bandits like we did Buckaroo Banzai. But I was going to ask you if you remember this because I know I've seen it. I recognize the cast, but I do not remember what this movie is or about.
No, I'm in the exact same boat. Like I'm pretty sure like my dad and I watched it at one point because my dad was always into like, weird comedy movies and slapstick and stuff like that. So I have a feeling like I watched it, but
I watched all these weird. There was this group of weird movies like Buckaroo Banzai, Ice Pirates, Time Bandits. These weird like kind of fantasy type shows that have really bad special effects and were kind of goofy. Yeah,
like they were trying too hard.
Yeah, trying real hard to copy Goonies to an extent, but like let's make everything like we'll Goonies it, but we'll do this instead. I don't know. Whatever. I'm sure some of you have seen Time Bandits. Will get on our comments and tell us how stupid we are that we don't know what it's about. But
please just tell us, because honestly, we'd like to know.
Tell us and let us know if it's worth reviewing. Like if you'd like to see us do a review where me and Ryan just talk about the movie, because we'll do that. But speaking of things from our childhood that we do remember, Ryan, there's two things from the 80s, especially us growing up, that were awesome. One, let's see if you can guess them. One involved a dude in a lot of latex, rubber. And one involved four brothers who had a very particular set of skills.
Let's see, four brothers that have a set of skills. Not the three ninjas, because that was only three.
That was three, yeah, but you're on the right path. What other things from the 80s had four brothers with particular set of skills?
Now, let me. Can I ask you some questions?
Sure, you can ask a couple questions.
Did they have Italian names?
They did have Italian. Classic Renaissance. Well, I would say, yeah, I mean, Renaissance is technically Italian, sure. Why not?
Were they green?
They were green.
Did they enjoy pizza?
They did. Would you like to solve this question, Ryan?
Well, I would have to say the four teenagers of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, so one of these things is Ninja Turtles. What is the other thing from the 80s that we enjoyed that had a
lot of spandex? That was like 90% of the shit in the 80s, Brian.
No, it wasn't spandex. It was the first thing to have a rubber, like a latex rubber suit.
Was there nipples on the rubber suit?
Not yet. That was not until later iterations.
Because it was Batman.
It was Batman. Now I got to ask you, Ryan, what would happen if you crossed Batman with the Ninja Turtles?
If you cross Batman and Ninja Turtles, I think you're gonna have Alfred making a lot of pizzas, and Batman trying.
You're gonna have to have me changing my pants. Woohoo! Because. Yeah.
That trailer looked damn good.
Because DC realized they sucked the knowledge out of my brain while I was sleeping, and they said, "Oh my God, this guy's got a wealth of nerdy '80s information in his head, and we're gonna take a couple things and we're gonna mash them up into one super awesome thing." And they made a Ninja Turtles Batman movie is coming out.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's the next DC animated movie, but it is coming soon, and I cannot wait. It looks great.
It looks really good, like how they're able to mesh in the Foot Clan and Shredder with the Batman universe.
Watching Batman do a roundhouse kick to Shredder's face is awesome. So, I mean, this is based on a comic book. This isn't the
you were never going to see, and now you get to see it.
They didn't do this just for a movie. This is actually based on a comic book crossover that I have not read yet. I really want to. I'll probably wait to watch the movie first, but I'm really excited for this. I want to see more of these kind of crossovers. It makes sense that Batman's basically a ninja at this point. I mean, he's a ninja, so it's cool that they take two things that are kind of work together and find a way to interlace them. But I'm excited for this. I haven't been this excited for an animated movie in a while. I'm pretty stoked for this. Yeah. Well, at least for direct-to-home video.
I want to see Ninja Turtles fight Joker. I mean, it's just...
Oh, my God. I didn't even think about their... Like Bane or something?
Yeah. It's going to be like... Michelangelo's punching Bane.
Yeah, this is going to be great. So, yes, as you can see, we are very excited. I'm not sure what the release date is on this, but do not worry. Me and Ryan will definitely be reviewing this when it comes out.
Yes.
We'll let you guys know all about it.
Our Warner Brothers contact will definitely be getting a lot of emails from me.
So many emails. And then let's see here. Lastly, we got a couple. So a little bit of DC news. Nothing too crazy this week. If you guys are Fandango Prime or whatever members, you can actually. They're sending out emails today. You can go see Shazam 2 weeks early. They're having special screenings, so check your emails for those. If you are a Fandango subscriber, which I am, unfortunately I can't go. I'm going to be gone that weekend, but yeah, check it out. I'm hearing good things about it. Another thing I'm hearing is that the Black Adam movie, the Rock movie, apparently the script is moving forward, and in the script they're going to be introducing a lot of different superheroes, particularly Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Stargirl. Sounds like they're going to be kind of unveiling a lot of the DC roster in some of these standalone movies, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's what they needed to start doing 10 years ago. So, because that's why they're so far behind on everything.
Well, yeah, you slowly introduce new characters, and DC has a wealth of characters that they can, just a huge well that they can draw upon. Just great characters.
So much people they could just make a spin-off movie on.
Well, throw a bunch of characters into movies, see what people respond to, and then just move forward with them, right? Give them their own projects. We don't need 72 Harley Quinn movies, but give me a Hawk Girl and Hawkman movie. That'd be great.
I feel like that's what they were what they were trying to do with Suicide Squad, but then they end up taking it in the wrong direction after that.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. More Marvel news. One more thing. The Game of Thrones critics. So usually HBO sends out screeners of Game of Thrones to give them to reporters so they can review them early. Unfortunately, that's where a lot of the spoilers end up coming from. So this year, HBO has said, nope, get out. So hopefully we will not all have to worry about spoilers as much because nobody is getting review copies of season 8.
HBO has said that they're going to just chop anyone's head off.
HBO said, we don't need you to review our show. Everyone's going to watch it.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, you're not needed this time around.
It will be the most bootleg show in the history of all shows. And then we're moving on to Marvel. We got a little bit of Marvel news to finish out tonight. We just found out this week that the Disney Plus streaming service that you talked about earlier, a new animated series that we're going to get, apparently, is the What If storylines, which is awesome. So anybody who's not familiar with it, Marvel Comics released a series of comics called the What If. So I think the first issue is what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four, and what if Doctor Doom was a good guy? What if, so it's all these what if scenarios. So it sounds like every episode's going to...
What if the Hulk had babies?
Yeah, what if the Hulk was a giraffe? So what's kind of cool is it allowed them to explore a lot of crazier stuff. What if Thor was, what if Loki had the power of Thor? Stuff, just weird stuff. And
what if Loki had Mjolnir?
Yeah, so it's all what if, they're standalone stories that they could just do whatever the hell they wanted to. And they're all single shots, and I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a really cool show. I'm glad to see that they're not just relying on, we're going to make a Hulk show. They're really thinking, they're looking at all their stuff and saying, what can we make that's original content that hasn't been done before that people might really be interested in?
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they're sinking some of that sweet, sweet Disney billions into developing a lot of new content. As much as we love Doom Patrol and Titans and Young Justice, DC has not developed a lot. We have not gotten a lot of new shows yet for the streaming service on the DC, streaming app. And it looks like Disney's kind of like, listen, we've got 87 shows in development coming out next year.
Titans was really good. Mm-hmm. Doom Patrol is probably one of my favorite shows out right now. Mm-hmm. So they started off pretty well. They just need to keep that ball rolling.
Yeah, but like I said, it's cool to see. It makes sense. Disney's got so much money and so many great properties; they can just throw whatever they want to at it. But then again, so does Warner Brothers.
They're just by virtue of what their production companies already are. they can just get stuff up and rolling really easily.
Well, I'm just happy to know that I'm going to pay for the service. It's nice to get a lot of content right out of the gate for it. So. Also, I don't know. I think we announced this last week, but just in case we didn't, it's Disney's also announced that every single one of their titles that has Disney in it is going to be available from day one on the streaming service.
Now, did they say as a free stream or that you'll be able to purchase them?
No. They're going to be available to stream. It comes with the service. Everything, including movies and stuff that's in their vault. Every Disney movie known to man will be available on the streaming service.
All those obscure sports movies that they did that you didn't even know that Disney did them, going to be on there.
My first thought was, God damn it, why did I buy all those Disney movies?
Yeah.
No word yet if we're going to be able to download it like you can with Netflix. I'm sure that at some point, probably not right out of the gate, but I'm sure at some point you'll be able to download the content as you go, just like you can with Netflix and Amazon.
Wow. It'll be nice.
Let's see. What else we got here? Cloak and Dagger Season 2 is coming back. It's a show I really enjoyed last year on Freeform.
God, did I finish that?
Oh, no. Well, you got a little time. The new season starts April 4th, so it's getting close. We got a lot of stuff coming out in April. But check it out. If you haven't checked it out, I really enjoyed it. It's on Freeform. Cloak and Dagger, pretty good show, Marvel show. Looks like Disney has a final date of when they're going to officially acquire 20th Century Fox, and it's here now. March 20th. It sounds like this deal would be done. So as of March 20th, Disney will own the X-Men and Fantastic Four along with Avatar and everything else. So there's a chance we could get an X-Men like teaser in the new Avengers movie.
Endgame with X-Men in it.
I don't think the X-Men will be in Endgame, but there was a rumor that I had heard. I mean, take this with a grain of salt. That is, if this thing could get closed before the movie came out, that they had a stinger prepared that was just going to kind of tease, like, at the very end of the credits roll, just kind of tease something about the X-Men or Fantastic. Have Silver Surfer come flying by.
It'll just be Professor Xavier's chair.
Well, it might not even be X-Men, honestly. The rumor is that Fantastic Four and like Galactus and stuff are going to get introduced before the X-Men are. So, I mean, how cool would it be at the very end of the movie? I mean, imagine our minds are all blown by Endgame. We're sitting there like, oh my God, how are they going to top this movie? How are they going to top Endgame? And then all of a sudden you see Silver Surfer and Galactus floating through space. And then you leave the theater just, unable to speak.
Yes. I think it'll be a shot of the Xavier Institute for children. I think it's going to be...
I think they're going to release a 20-minute movie.
Scarlet Witch is going to be resetting the whole universe.
That's cool. You could do House of M, kind of retcon it a little bit. That'd be cool. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I'm sure they got all kinds of ways to do it. I'm excited for it, so we'll see. And then the final bit of Marvel news we got for you guys, and actually the last bit of news is going to lead us into a tiny bit of a topic, is Captain Marvel came out last weekend, and it scored huge regardless. All the internet trolls tried to tank this movie, and it did not work. It had a $155 million opening weekend, and it crossed over $500 million its first weekend. It is probably going to hit $1 billion. It does not seem to be slowing down.
This first weekend worldwide, Brian.
Yeah. I mean,
I know one person who saw it 3 times last weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
God, I don't know how, because spoiler. I mean, okay.
Well, one, she doesn't have children, and 2 incomes. So
that's also true. All right. Well, there you go. I mean, I got the 2 incomes. I have children. And honestly, besides that, I don't know if I'd want to see this movie 3 times. Like, so here's the deal. Let's see. How do we do this? You haven't seen it yet, and I don't want to spoil for anybody who hasn't. Yeah. So we're gonna talk a little bit about Captain Marvel and what I thought about it. I'm not gonna give a full review, but you can feel free to listen if you haven't watched it. I'm not gonna spoil any of the major plot points, but I went and saw the movies last week, and I took my daughters, and it was okay. It was fine. It was a fine Marvel movie. I was a little disappointed because I thought I was really hoping for a great Marvel movie. I mean, it was it's their first female superhero-led movie. They put a lot into it. They really wanted to make this a big deal, and it just wasn't great. I mean, it was like, It was
Phase 1 Marvel movie?
It was Phase 1 Marvel movie, right? I would put it right next to Thor, or
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, and I don't want to trash it. I really, really liked Brie Larson, and I do understand why this movie means a lot to a lot of people, so I don't want to take anything away from anybody who really enjoyed this movie for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, it's not that good. I mean, it's okay. It's got a lot of fun stuff, but it really drags in the middle. This movie had 5 different writers, and it shows. The story is just kind of...
5? I didn't know.
5 writers on this movie, and it's just... And like, it really drags. So, for instance, the movie is a mystery plot, right? Like, it starts out, and you don't, a lot of stuff they show in the trailers. So I'm not gonna. This isn't a spoiler. Carol Danvers doesn't know who she is. So a lot of this movie's trying to figure out who she is. But unfortunately, because of the trailers and because of what they show you in this movie, you kind of already know who she is. Mm-hmm. So it's like watching a mystery unravel that you already know the answers to. So you're just like, just get to it. Just come on. I don't care about your process of finding yourself. Just, and there's a lot of forced stuff in this movie as far as like there's ways that she's supposed to feel like when she finds out who she is, she's supposed to like, oh, I'm empowered by this, but it never feels like she never really makes that connection. It's like everything, a lot of the movie's just exposition. Like they tell her who she is, and then she's like, I know who I am. Not really. Somebody just told you who you were. You don't really know who you are yet. Maybe they're lying. I mean, it's just,
it's not like you wake up someday and you find out, I feel like I'm half Dutch.
And her backstory is just a lot of dudes being mean to her, and how she has to fight against that, which is a good message. I'm not, that was, that's, and it's a really cool part in the movie when it all kind of comes together. But it's like, her whole backstory is, I just did a bunch of stuff because people said I shouldn't do it and people were mean to me. So I know who I am now. There was an opportunity here to really flesh out this character, and I really didn't feel like they did very well. That being said, I really like Brie Larson. I'm really excited for Captain Marvel. There's a lot of really fun stuff in this. The de-aging technology they use to bring back Coulson and Nick Fury are really cool. There's a great cat named Goose who's I won't say anything other than I don't even like cats, and this cat's great. And the movie the action sequences are great. Well, for the most part, they're pretty good. There's no standout action sequence, was another thing that kind of irritated me. She's got all these powers, and it ends up mostly being smash, smash, blow stuff up, right? A lot of the things they criticize movies like Superman for. It's just, I don't know. It is very good Phase 1 movie. I would put it, I'd put it with like a Doctor Strange movie. I enjoyed it. It was fun. But I just really, considering how good of an actress Brie Larson is, and how much they could do with Marvel's pretty much most powerful character, I just was kind of disappointed with what they decided to do with it. And even a lot of the 90s stuff, I liked it, but a lot of it felt like, how much 90s nostalgia can we cram into a movie, right?
As we've seen in Ready Player One, you can cram a lot of nostalgia.
Yeah, but Ready Player One does a way of integrating it into making it integral to the story, right? So it doesn't feel tacked on. It just is, because that's the story. This is like every time
we're playing this 90s song, guys. Wink, wink.
Well, just like when she finally fights a bunch of people at the end, they play "I'm Just a Girl," right? I'm just a girl, and it's a fun song, and it for the most part plays well. But like, if it's raining outside, they play a song about "I'm only happy when it rains," and I'm just like, it was too on the nose. Like, it was too much on the nose, right?
Yes.
And so it, like, she steals these clothes, and it's all like 9-inch nails, ripped jeans, flannel wrapped around her waist. It just, they had they had almost too much 90s stuff crammed into this, right? Which, I love the 90s, so I'm not going to complain.
Brought back Kurt Cobain from the dead.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people complaining about, like, there's a Street Fighter game that came out in like 96, and this is supposed to be 95. Whatever. I'm not gonna pick nits about stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, whatever. But I enjoyed this movie. It was fun. I also a lot of times will rate a movie based on how my children like it. And so, like, for the first most of the movie, my daughter was my oldest just seemed uninterested. My 6-year-old was bored as hell. The middle of the movie really drags a lot, and it's a lot of story. There's hardly any action. There's a ton of exposition. What?
It's a lot of setup they got to do.
Well, and that's the problem, right? So it's a lot of like talking about the Skrulls and the Kree and things that a lot of just casual moviegoers are going to be like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. Why do I care about any of these people?
Even if you've only been watching like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I mean, they've lightly tapped into that stuff. But
I will say this is kind of cool in a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. prequel. I mean, this movie is also basically the forming of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is actually really cool.
Yeah.
But so my 6-year-old was just bored. I think at one point she asked me when Wonder Woman was going to show up, and I'm like, it's not this movie. This is not Wonder Woman. This is Captain Marvel. But I will say this: it's got a killer last act, 30 minutes. Both my daughters really enjoyed the end of it. My oldest daughter, when we left the theater, she's like, I want to be Captain Marvel. I love her. And you know what? And that's really, honestly, at the end of the day, it's all that mattered to me. I'll give it a thumbs up just for that, because, unfortunately, we have to say it. Women are not very well represented in the superhero movie industry.
Maybe that's why they had to really be on the nose. I mean, just because there's so much underrepresentation that for this movie they had to just.
Well, and that's, and honestly, I mean, some of it is, like I said, I'm disappointed. I don't want to compare the two films, but like when I saw Wonder Woman, that was a great movie, and I loved Wonder Woman. So when I went into this, I don't, maybe it's not fair. Patty Jenkins is an amazing director. Wonder Woman as a character has this rich history, and she's just made for her own great movies. So, comparing Captain Marvel, expecting that out of Marvel, And honestly, DC just does things a little different than Marvel does. And so I should have known going into this was going to be a movie that had a lot of tie-ins and connections to other movies. And, you know, but that being said, I was a little disappointed with Marvel's first outing. I mean, 21... I feel like Marvel's getting a little more credit than they deserve for this too, because to be honest with you, 21 movies in, you finally give us a female-led superhero movie, and it's above average at best? Come on, man. Marvel should be better. And like I said, if you are one of the people who absolutely loves this movie, go ahead. I'm not telling you you're wrong. For me personally, I expect more out of Marvel, and I think Marvel really they could have done better with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean,
I'll be finding out on Saturday because that's when my family's going to go see it.
I'm anxious to see what you think. Our friend Chris, friend of the show, Chris, he really, really liked the movie too. And so, you know, I enjoyed Captain Marvel. I'll buy it when it comes out. It fits right into the Marvel universe. I just, you know, I just wish it could have been better. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's okay that Captain Marvel's a above average movie. You know, we need to get out of this thing too, where we need to not hold female superhero movies to standards that we don't hold male superhero movies to, right? So if a mediocre Thor movie comes out, no one's like, oh, is the future of this character in jeopardy? Or look, see, you just can't make good Thor movies. It's just impossible. We just can't do it. No, they run out 9 more Thor movies, right? And so the sad part is that we have 2 real female superhero movies to talk about, Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel, and that's it. One of them's really good, and one of them's pretty good. And that's okay. I mean, until we get to the point, even if we have a string of 15 terrible female-led superhero movies, that's okay too. We just keep making it. They're good movies. I mean, there's no reason why we don't.
You're building a universe. I mean, why not?
I mean, I was more mad, like I said, leaving it, that the fact that we haven't gotten a Black Widow movie, or, you know, I know
she's been such an integral part of the whole thing, and she still hasn't had her own movie yet.
She's been in, like, what, probably 15 of the 21 Marvel movies?
Yeah. In some way. I mean, she obviously all the Avengers, and she's been, you know, in some part in everything else.
So, I mean, I would love to see a Marvel, like a female Avengers movie. They have enough great female characters now that they could headline a movie. I would love to see Wasp and Black Widow and Captain Marvel all just in a movie together. It'd be great. But anyway, hey, everybody's got their own opinion about Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. It's fine. If I were going to give it a rating, I'd say it's 7.5, you know, 7. I'd give it a solid B. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but it's, you know, it kind of sucks. It's right before Endgame. This is a movie that probably should have came out a couple years ago, to be honest with you. There's no reason why this couldn't have come out a few years ago. There's nothing groundbreaking in this. There's no special effects that you haven't seen before in a Marvel movie. There's no story plot points that you needed to wait this long to get this movie. So
just that they finally got off their ass and made a female movie.
You know what? That's, and in a lot of ways, that seems like what it is, right? It seems like, all right, Wonder Woman did really good. We've got to we got to bring in a female character and give her her own movie, because
who's the most powerful person we got. Originally,
they've been wanting to introduce Captain Marvel like 2 or 3 different times, and they just haven't done it yet. Partly because she's really, you know, she's like Superman levels of power. I mean, this girl, it's going to be real interesting to see how they do it.
Our powers.
What? Well, I don't want to spoil the movie because they've changed it a little bit, but basically energy projection, so she can...
Comics, at least the comic version of her powers.
They don't really do a great job of explaining her powers other than she's like a giant energy battery, so like she's...
Okay, so she like... Yeah, that's right. She absorbs like other people, like if something happens to her, she like absorbs it.
I don't really know. That's another problem with this being an origin story. You see how she gets her powers, but they don't really do a very good job of explaining them. Basically, like sometimes she can just shoot energy blasts. Sometimes she can like make the energy blast like move things. And she learns to fly with them. She kind of turns herself into a giant projectile.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like that's why I was kind of disappointed with some of the action sequences. Like they didn't give me anybody that really challenged her by the end of the movie, and she just showed up and just started blasting everything. You're like, all right.
Why not?
I mean, hey, it's whatever. I'm not going to complain. I like watching characters blow shit up in space.
Like Justice League, Superman just came in and just like, you know, easily just...
I do find, here's what I do find pretty funny, though, and this isn't to pit DC or against Marvel, because I know everybody does that already, but, you know, people crushed Man of Steel. Crushed Man of Steel for, all kinds of different things. And now on the same hand, they're just raving about how great Captain Marvel is as a character. What? Mm-hmm. Superman had so much of a Man of Steel had so much of a better villain, a better fight scene. The action sequences were amazing. Yes.
Yeah, but he killed General Zod.
The only difference in this movie,
Superman doesn't kill people.
Dude, Captain Marvel leaves a lot of destruction in her wake. Yeah, maybe not like blow up the entire Metropolis destruction, but the only difference between Marvel and Captain Marvel and Man of Steel is that Man of Steel is like, that movie was meant to be a thought, like a burden. Having all these powers, what does that mean? What does that do to a person? What is the burden when you have the weight of the world literally on your shoulders? Where Captain Marvel is much more like, oh sweet, I got powers. Let's go kick ass. And it's fun, right? I mean, that's the difference of the two movies, but man, almighty. The action sequences and stuff like that in Man of Steel just destroy Captain Marvel, I'll tell you that.
So, if I remember right, the movie takes place in the 90s.
Yes.
And they tell us where she'd been like the last 20 years almost.
It's 6 years. So she's been. Oh, you're talking about for Avengers Endgame? Yes. Just stay through the credits.
Like where she just disappeared to.
Just stay through the credits, people. There's 2 teasers. Yeah. The first one is an Avengers teaser. I'm not gonna tell you anything more. Second one is just kind of like a fun,
Okay. So 2 post-credit teasers.
Yes, one is a mid-credit stinger, and the last one is at the very end of the movie. So.
Okay.
All right, there you go. So there you go, Captain Marvel. Anything else you want to ask me before you go? Like I said, I don't want to ruin anything because there's a lot of, and I don't want anybody to think I'm shitting on this. There's a lot of really good stuff about it. I think we give Marvel.
You told me less than what I saw on just one of the trailers.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I guess my disappointment is
more than what you just did.
People give Marvel such a pass. Like, I mean, I'm glad Marvel. Like, people give credit for just making this movie. Like, I'm looking at it like Marvel. You could have made it. You could have made it. I've seen Thor Ragnarok. I've seen Captain America: The Winter Soldier. You could have made this movie epic.
Yeah.
And you chose to go really safe. They played it really safe in this movie, which is just very disappointing, in my opinion. So, whatever. I mean, Marvel, you've got enough credit. You've got enough creed to, like, really make a stand. You really want to make a statement? Just do it. People are going to trash this movie regardless because there's a bunch of dudes who hate girls out there that are idiots.
The free stuff, so...
So, I don't know, whatever. It was a very vanilla version of a movie that I thought they were going to make, which, whatever. But 7 B plus, B minus.
Yeah.
Solid.
$500 million opening weekend.
Yeah. A lot of people really liked it, and, I would like to hear from anybody who loved this movie. Like, what was it that, I would love for people to tell me what I missed, like, if I'm missing something, because I do, I'll watch this probably 2 or 3 more times at least. I don't know if I'll see it in the theaters, but, if you were one of the people who just thought this is the greatest Marvel movie ever made, I'd love to know why you thought so.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, all right. We don't have any questions from the Faithful 50, so instead we could talk about American Gods if you want to for a couple minutes before we do our recommendations.
Sure, Brian. Now, if you don't remember, people, American Gods is on Stars. They had season 1, 2 years ago, it seems like.
Yeah, the season 2 was in developmental hell. They had to go through like 3 different showrunners. Apparently, Neil Gaiman was real upset because he wanted the show to be more in line with the book, more of a straight adaptation instead of so stylized.
Yeah, and
well, because anybody who watched season 1, that was a weird ass show, but it was really good. It was just really strange.
Yeah. So, how much review do you think someone needs to do before they start season 2?
Maybe watch the whole thing. I watched every single episode of season 1, and then I started watching season 2, and I was so lost. I went back, started watching again, and then I was like, man, I don't have time for all this. And so I went to the wiki and I read everything, and then I'm still lost. So this isn't going to be a full spoiler, but I'm going to spoil a few things about the first episode.
And I've read the book, so I know everything that happens anyway. So
yeah, well, I just meant for anybody listening who hasn't watched the first episode yet, but you know what? You could tell as a new showrunner, and I do not think, just judging off the first episode, that is not a good thing. This show has lost almost everything about it from the first season that made it so interesting.
Well, and a lot of the actors.
Well, yeah, that's the other noticeable thing. So many people have left this project that they're trying to creatively find ways to not show them. The show just feels fractured. It doesn't feel like the same show. You know, like every episode did those great introductions about like the gods coming to America. Yeah. In this show, they just explain it. It's just all exposition. And you're just like, what's going on? I don't know what I'm seeing. And it's still kind of weird, but I'm telling you, I spent the whole first episode just lost. Like, I don't know what's really happening here. And I mean, there's a couple cool things, like they show all the gods in their kind of god forms, which is kind of nice, but they do like all this exposition dump of all these new characters, but because like, so in the first season, they did a really good job of showing us each character's story before they brought them in.
Like, why this person is a god. I mean, and all it took was just someone just worshiping them.
Exactly. So then when they would...
point of how they thought that god looked or whatever, that's how that god came into
it explained a lot about each character, so that way when we saw them in the story, like throughout the episode, it made sense, right? This plays much more like just a normal episode of TV where all these characters meet together and Odin is just talking about each one of them like we're supposed to know who they are, but we don't. I'm like, where's my... I feel like I need an ancient gods of mythology of old gods so I can find out who each one of these characters is.
Yeah.
It was, the first episode was a convoluted mess. I don't even really understand what happened in it by the end of it. I'm very disappointed.
It sounds like you're going to have a really hard time getting reinvested.
Yeah, I mean, not just that, the original season was weird, right? It was strange, and it gave you...
It was good.
But it was so interesting. And it's this episode has lost all the things that really made it interesting.
The second to last or the last episode where they introduced Easter, and then they had the house full of all the different Jesuses that different thought Jesus looked.
And that's what's so strange. This episode, because apparently the girl who played Easter that actress didn't come back. They spend all the new gods spend the entire episode like, we've got to find media because Gillian Anderson's gone. And so, this episode starts with all the main characters just in a car driving around. And I'm like, wait a minute, weren't they didn't he strike a whole bunch of crops and create a lightning storm? I don't know. And then they all just go to some place to meet a bunch of different gods and then...
At the house or at the rock or something like that?
Yeah, but it's like some weird amusement park. It's
like an amusement park, and then they go on the merry-go-round.
Yeah, so they do that in the show. But like I said, they just don't really explain anything, so you're just lost the whole time.
Yeah, wow, they jumped to that part?
Yeah, and then and so Shadow Moon from last season was like, I don't believe in gods, and then the big kicker was the end when he's like, I am Odin, and he realized they're gods. Now all of a sudden he's just like, oh, I'm on board with everything, this is great, blah blah blah. I'm like, what is going on? It feels like a different show. I will watch it, hopefully it gets better, but I'm very disappointed with this.
That is kind of sad because the first season was pretty enjoyable. So
it was just crazy. There was nothing if you tried to explain it to people, it'd be like, listen, there's there's dudes floating around with giant erections in the space of a god's vagina. People are like, what? What are you talking about? But it was fun trying to explain the show to people because it was so different. And this is just, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be a giant mess regardless. So. Yeah,
I had this feeling that it could be, but season 1 was just so good that I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I don't know, man. It's lost a lot of its flavor, and a lot of the characters now just run around saying things that...
and to lose someone like Easter, who's such an integral part of the book.
Well, yeah. So was she in the merry-go-rounds?
I can't quite remember. I don't think so, but toward the end, she plays a big part.
So, in the merry-go-round, they introduced Hera from Zeus mythology, but I didn't even realize it was her until later. You see her name in the credits, and I'm like, oh, okay, we just got this huge new god, and
I don't remember Hera really being in it.
She's not. Apparently, they introduced. I was reading an article that they're trying to introduce more gods to take positions from people who've left the show. So they're trying to. Yeah, I don't know, man. It seems like a giant mess. Hopefully, it can find its footing because I would really hate to bail on this. But I mean, at the end of the day, I can always just read the book. So.
Yeah, great book. So.
But I mean, it's just sad because, like you said last season, all the Jesuses, they didn't have those in the book, and that was one of the greatest parts of the whole show last season. That was amazing.
Yeah, Jesus with the hole in his hand trying to eat the Skittles.
Oh god, that was hilarious. Jesus, who's just like floating on the water, he's just hanging out in the pool. Yeah, that was good, but and just so many visceral things. Like, remember when they had Latino Jesus trying to cross the Rio Grande and the dudes just gun him down? Yeah, it was. Yeah, that show was special in season 1, and I'm afraid that it's lost that in season 2. So
it sounds like that, and I could kind of see it. It felt like it was going that route from all the chaos that was happening.
Every time they bring in a new showrunner to fix it, they were like, "Nah, we quit," and they were like, "We're out." So I don't know. You'll have to watch it. Let me know if any of you guys or gals have watched it and you have thoughts. We'd love to talk about it. So, all right. Well, since we don't really have anything else to talk about, we'll do our recommendations. Cut the show a little short this week and get the hell out of here. So,
sure, still doing like an hour-long show.
It's like an hour and 10 minutes. We're going to be 20 minutes shorter than we normally are. So, for our weekly recommendations, Ryan, what do you got, man? You got anything?
Today, my wife and I watched Free Solo.
Ooh, is that about like Han Solo?
Yeah, it was about getting Han Solo out of the carbonite.
Ooh,
it was how it all happened behind the scenes, and Luke and everything. But no. It was about this guy named Alex. I can't remember his last name.
Guinness?
He's a free solo climber, which is like, he's the guy that got like no ropes or anything, and they got like the pouch of chalk.
Does he use solo cups?
Yes, and he has solo cups that are like big suction cups, and he just suction cups up a mountain.
I knew that would happen if you do it just right.
Yeah. So, but no. Just his hands, and it's like they show some of the scenes, like how he's gripping stuff. Like it's like really something that's like my 2 fingers right here wide, and he's gripping his whole hand on it. That's keeping him from falling down a mountain. Dude,
so I heard that people that were in the theaters when that movie came out, there were literally people who were having anxiety attacks, like panic attacks, watching it.
My wife kept saying, holy crap, like how the hell is he doing it? And then they show, because the whole thing about him he wants to free climb El Capitan, that really crazy ass mountain in Yosemite in California.
Oh, I thought that was a pirate ship in the Caribbean.
Yes. But they show him like doing it, like when he's trying to like do it and stuff like that, and it's insane, just Brian. Nuts, how did he not die?
I don't know.
But then they talk about this one guy was saying that
maybe that's on the director's cut.
He said every free solo climber that I know has nobody has lived to like a long life. They all die at some point. And they even show a video of one guy falling, but then at the last second, he like deploys like a parachute or something like that. So my wife was like, starts screaming because she thinks she's watching like this video of
somebody falling to their death, like a real death.
And like a parachute comes out, and she's like, "Oh my god!" But I mean, it's just like the guy's falling. It's insane. It's a crazy, crazy movie. Free Solo. You should definitely watch it. Really good documentary.
Where's it? What's it on?
I think we watched it on no. I think it was on Amazon Prime.
Okay, so Free Solo. I'll check it out. My recommendation this week is also a movie. It's something we watched on Netflix. Just started streaming, I think, this week. Called Christopher Robbins. And if that sounds familiar, then yes, it is. It's a movie from Disney about Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robbins. The twist in this is that Christopher Robbins is now all grown up, and he no longer has need for his imaginary friends. Or are they? Of Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, and Piglet, and Owl, and Roo, and all the rest of the gang. And, he's grown up. Christopher Robbins now lives in London. He's got a family to feed, and he's got a job that he has to, put in all the work in the weekends, and his daughter, he's lost his, it's very much like a Hook movie, right? Where they grow up, the hero grows up, loses his sense of adventure and wonder. Everything's about work, and now he's kind of forcing that onto his children. That, life isn't going to be fair to you. You have to work hard, and you'll have your fun once you've worked hard and have something. And the whole kind of point of the movie is to don't forget to enjoy your life. But it's so one day Pooh wakes up. And he wakes up, and so, it cuts to Christopher Robin, then cuts to Pooh. He's in his little house, and he wakes up and can't find his friends. So he realizes the only person that can help him is his friend Christopher Robin. So he goes to London and finds the adult Christopher Robbins. And the movie is genuinely one of the best Disney movies I've seen in years. It is. I watched it literally like misty-eyed for half the movie. And not because it's sad, but just because it really hits you as an adult, man.
Well, and Winnie the Pooh is such a big part of so many people's childhoods.
Well, so many great lines. In this movie, he's so much about remembering. When I was a kid and watched the show and the cartoon, I didn't quite get it. They were just some fun characters that did fun things. But as an adult, you get what Winnie the Pooh's saying, right? Like, he's saying always remember to enjoy the things in life. Slow down. He always says, like, I find that the best somethings come from doing nothing, right? I mean, it's always about remembering the moment, remembering who you are in the present, and don't forget that, right? And don't forget to just live your life. The movie is genuinely funny. I watched it with my two girls. They did not move the entire movie. In fact, when it was over, they were mad at me that I didn't take them to see it in the theaters because they enjoyed it so much. And they went upstairs and started watching it again. It's great because they actually use, I know there's a lot of criticism because the Pooh and the animals look like stuffed animals. Instead of making them look like they do in the cartoon, they made them just but it's perfect for the movie. I can't explain it. The marketing for this must have just not been right because I don't know how this movie cannot make money because it is so good. It is such a good movie. It's ridiculously funny. I don't know how it's as funny as it is, but watching Eeyore float down a river on his back being like, Eeyore, get out of the river. No, I don't think I will. If I'm in the river, it's because I'm supposed to be, and there's no escape for me now, so I'm just going to go over the waterfall and probably die. But hey, sometimes you just got to do what life tells you to do. I'm just like, it's just really funny. It's so funny. And the way that the movie works, it is a genuinely heartfelt movie that doesn't just fake stuff to pull on your heartstrings. It actually makes you one of those rare movies that makes you feel something, right? And it's got a great message, and it's an excellent family movie. And in the world where everything we see now is a remake, it's great to see a sequel that is original, and it's great.
I'm going to get I think we'll try and do like a family movie night in like a couple of nights and just get everybody to watch it.
Oh, and it's a rare movie that doesn't try and cram like 3 hours into a movie that needs to be an hour and a half. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It goes by really fast. Nice. Just when it starts to drag a little bit, boom, and moves to the next thing, and then the movie's over. So it's a perfect family movie, honestly. Even if you're not a giant Winnie the Pooh fan, I would dare you to watch this and not enjoy it. It is a really good movie.
Yes. I'm sold, Brian.
Christopher Robbins. One of the best Disney movies that I guarantee you most of you have not seen. Check it out. Free right now, streaming on Netflix. So I think that's all we got, unless you got anything else you want to talk about.
No, I'm good.
All right, well, before we get out of here, Ryan, would you like to tell the people, if they didn't already know, where they can find us?
Of course, Brian.
Not on Facebook, though, apparently. Fucking Facebook.
They can find us on YouTube at the Geek Dad Report and Twitter Geek Dad Report. Brian is Brian West 53 and I am Big Bruiser. We are on Facebook at the Geek Dad Report when it is alive and working, and we're on podhell.com where you can find our friends, the Utah Outcast, and we're also on iTunes at the Geek Dad Report. So make sure you go and leave a comment, and give us all the 5-star ratings, and tell at least 5 of your friends to listen to the show. and tell them how awesome it is, and to subscribe on YouTube, because if we do not get 11 more subscribers by 200 episode, we are quitting. So just so you guys know. So.
Yep. Done.
Yep. If we can hit 100 by 200, boom.
And you'll have no one but to blame.
But
no
yourself.
one to blame but yourself. It will be officially your fault. But on that note, everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. And until next week, stay awesome.
And stay nerdy, everyone.